Welcome to Rush Reality, my name is Sam and today I want to talk to you about the Valve Steam Deck. Now this is not a review, there are hundreds of reviews of the Steam Deck on YouTube at the minute. What this is a response. As a YouTube creator, you get something called analytics. It tells you data about the people that watch your channel. And part of that data is what people who watch your channel are searching for. Usually, mine is made up of things like Quest 2, Oculus, VR games. But lately, the top subject has been the Steam Deck, followed by Steam Deck VR. So clearly, people are interested if this thing can run VR well. So, firstly, I'll tell you straight off the bat, I bought this thing for general gaming. I've had it for a couple of weeks, and I have absolutely loved my experience. I've carried it pretty much everywhere with me. Since it arrived 2 weeks ago, I picked it up and haven't put it down. It has been an awesome way just to jump into games. The pick up and play nature means that at any point you can just jump in, have a quick blast and jump back out again. For the size and portability, it's a really powerful bit of kit. I've been amazed at how well it's ran games that I thought it would really struggle to play. The Steam Deck doesn't actually run on Windows, it runs on SteamOS, which was built on Linux. And that means it doesn't just run a game via Windows, it has to run it through a compatibility system. In this case, it uses an app called Proton that helps the two communicate together. And it works so well. The thing can even run games like Elden Ring and God of War, we're talking AAA titles, and it blasts through them with no issues whatsoever. So that led me to being kind of optimistic about what it would be able to do for VR. And I feel like I'd been coaxed into that position. I'd even seen Gabe Newell not dismissing the fact that this hardware would be open to working with external devices, and he specifically mentioned VR headsets.
So if you want to install the Epic Game Store on here, if you want to, run an Oculus Quest on it, those are all great. Those are features, right?
So I had to give it a go. Now my first thought was let's try connecting via a cable, but I've not seen anyone who's been able to make that work. It would mean installing the Oculus app via the remote desktop, but then you need to find a way to get the Oculus app that is running Windows-based games to use Proton to convert them over. And as of yet, I don't think there is a way to do that. And it could have been quite dangerous anyway. You can imagine having a lead connected to a small device like this on your desk, one little tug and the thing just goes flying across the room. It's almost inevitable, isn't it? But I was envisioning maybe popping it in a backpack, piling the cable in there and having a kind of body-mounted PC VR gaming experience like you'd get in a VR arcade. But alas, I was unable. So that led me to looking at the wireless connection. Now I'm not here going to detail the steps you'd need to take to connect your headset wirelessly to a Steam Deck. What I would do is refer you to the video made by Cas and Charry. Cas explains in very simple steps every action you need to put in place to connect your headset. She does it loads better than I could, and God knows how she managed to work it out in the first place. That's what I did. I followed the steps in Cas and Charry's video. It took me about 15 to 20 minutes. It involved switching over to desktop mode, connecting a keyboard, and typing in a fair amount of Linux code. But we got there, we did it, and it was all up and running. And after that effort, the experience was, well, horrendous. Now I don't mean that as a slight on Cas and Charry. They actually didn't recommend you go away and do it. They said it would likely be a bad experience, but if you wanted to do it, this is how you would. So I followed those steps, and for me, it was just painful. It was such a stuttery experience. It quickly made you feel sick. The world is just delaying as you turn your head and things are kind of clocking in around you. I really played with the settings and tried to optimize it. I dropped the resolution right down to the point where it looked like I'd grease smeared over my lenses, and it still wasn't smooth. I did manage to get some games up and running, but I could not consider them playable. Now, as always, your mileage may vary, and it's possible there are further settings to play with, and maybe the internet connection is a big factor. But my internet connection is very well optimized for a standard wireless experience on the Quest 2. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and it gives me a really smooth experience on a day-to-day basis. I was not getting that here. It just wasn't up to the task, and likely the reason is resolution. Now, the Steam Deck runs at about 800p, so not even full HD. Now that looks absolutely fine on a little handheld device because the pixels are so small you can't see them, and it actually looks pretty good. But when you're moving over to a VR headset, then you're talking of at least 4K resolutions, and the device just isn't up to it. For me, even just sitting in the Steam Home was unworkable. And I've also had countless crashes. Every time I turn it on, I get a slightly different experience. None of them have been good. Now that all said, it is still very early days for the Steam Deck, and SteamOS is such an open platform that the community might quickly have an impact. To put that in perspective, when it first launched, so many people were interested doing emulation on the device, trying to play their retro games in a nice handheld format. And it was quite a clunky process. There are many steps to take for you to get a smooth experience. But since launch, that process has been streamlined, and we've now got applications like EmuDeck that do all the work for you and make it really smooth and really effective. Maybe the community can rally together and build something similar for the VR experience, something that would really focus on compression and low settings and just trying to get it as optimized as you possibly can. Well, that all being said, should you go out and pick one up? Well, if you're a Quest user who doesn't own a gaming PC and thinks this could be your ticket into PC VR gaming, I'd urge you to look elsewhere. But if you're just a really big gaming fan who wants a new device that will help them expand their gaming in new directions, then it is really good and I will think you will love your experience. Just don't go into it aiming for VR. If you're going to be picking it up anyway and you've got a headset, should you try and connect the two together? Absolutely. What harm can you do? Maybe you'll get further than I did and have a passable experience. But for me, this is a no-go. Now I'm going to call that there. If you've got any thoughts or questions on the Steam Deck, let me know in the comments below. And if you've got any tips that would help further optimize the VR experience, then that would be massively helpful. I'd love to jump back into this and see it grow. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, then a like would be amazing. I will catch you on the next one. Thank you very much. Goodbye.